Hey there,
Hi,
gals and guys. It's Eliana Gilad
Kathy Wilkie.
and this morning, did you see what the subject is? What in the
Bleep.
is feminine leadership? See this distance between our heads? This is like
Yeah.
a lot of room. A
Yeah.
lot of room to explore this.
Yeah. I'm not too
Oh,
happy
maybe
about
we're
that. I think we're going to leave it.
No,
like
there's
that.
a lot of room. There's a lot of room.
Lot
Now
of
we're
room to explore.
operating from feminine leadership right now. And the reason that I wanted to do this Facebook Live, and I have actually traveled quite intently to personally meet with Kathy, because who you're meeting with is a very powerful feminine leader. And as you know, those of you who know me know that for 30 years I've been operating, leading my life and my business and everything from a place of feminine power from the inside out. And you also know that Miriam's Secret, Revealing the Ancient Wisdom of Feminine Leadership, which is the title of my book, is about leading from the inside out. But for the last few weeks, maybe month, but hi there, Ali. I, for the past few months, I've really been considering this word leadership. A lot of people are saying, well, what do you mean by leadership? Leadership connotates corporate. It connotates all kinds of things. And I've been thinking, am I supposed to go back into that space? Is that what I'm being called to do? It doesn't really feel natural, but I'm open because after 30 years, I'm in a place of uh, thinking about how to leave my legacy and to build the school. And so this ancient way is not dependent upon me anymore. So I'm meeting with all kinds of people in the space of feminine power, feminine leadership, and I'm also in a business training where my mentor yesterday said, we were speaking about this issue and a coin dropped. She said, what's different, she goes, what's challenging for me to help you. So I'm really going deep with this. I see my business and work and money and all these things that are spiritual issue. Whereas how I grew up and how most of us do, it's like spiritual and material, they don't meet. They sure do. But when you go to meeting them, there's no precedence. We don't have any guidebook. And when you're dealing with feminine power, it's not looking outside, it's looking inside. So we're talking about this yesterday, and she said the difficulty that, and this is a very conscious woman. I just so esteem her. And she does very, very well in business, and she helps others to do very well. And so she said, you're just all over the place. And we need you to slow down and go sequentially. And I heard that word sequentially and was like, whoa, game changer. Sequentially to me is different than structure. So I come here to meet with Kathy, who we're going to hear from in a second. And I'm sharing this with her as like, oh, this will be a really great segue to being able to ask Kathy about her own feminine leadership style. And she trains feminine business people to lead and to build their businesses from the feminine. So Kathy was asking, how do you want to do this? I go, I know, because this is like so up. I told her the story that I just told you now. She goes, well, it sounds like it's a difference between flow and structure. And I said, no, it's not about flow and structure. It's about sequencing. And within the flow, there is a structure, especially if we look at the model of birth. Okay, you know how it starts? First, you got to have the sex. Even before you have the sex, you got to have like attraction, right? And then there's the romance phase, and then there's the sex, and then there's the impregnation, and then there's the gestation, pregnancy, that's 9 months. And then there's contraction, and then there's birth. Never changes. Same sequence. But what did you say? Flow, a structure. But there's not structure because every woman's different. And, the doctor will say, well, we're estimating this date. Hooey booey. It's like the nature determines, not the doctor, not the one who has the structure and knows how to take care of things. Or the midwife, when the stuff does happen or contractions, then the midwife is there to do her physical and medical thing to assist the baby to come out. But for the most part, the majority of the time, she's just sitting by and watching, not doing. So I'm really curious, Kathy, how do you see feminine leadership and doing business in a feminine way?
Thank you so much for having me, by the way. I appreciate it. And so as Ileana said, I help women to not only differentiate their business and create the marketing that helps their business stand out, but I help them to lead their business from the feminine so that they can make the impact and money that they want to make without having to throw their personal life under the bus to do it, right? Feminine leadership and running a business from the feminine is really all about, so similar to what you're doing in your work, which is learning to listen to your own voice and trust that voice and actually take action from that place. So as opposed to following a model that made someone else successful, or letting someone else tell you what they did and that it made them successful, so you should do that. It's really about getting in touch with what wants to come through you, and with once you get in touch with what wants to come through you, then there's how are you going to offer it? How are you going to put it out in the world? And it's really, really important that the way that you do that is a way that excites you, and a way that is a turn on for you, in a way that feels fun. Because if it's not, you're just having to use force and your will to be successful, when in fact, when you're turned on and you're excited, you have access to power. And we want to be run by power, not using force.
So that brings up a really interesting question. What do you see with your clients and other women? What determines who really flourishes this way, and what would you say are the top 3 things, if you can, let's be feminine here,
Mm-hmm.
what are the top things that stop a woman, like, where do you see,
yeah.
like, the ones who really can make that shift and operate that way and flourish? And I mean, obviously it's, you think too much, blah, 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 that gets in the way, but like at a deeper level, what do you see stops a woman? What's the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge is their fear of their own survival, fear of not being able to pay your bills, and so being sort of stuck in survival consciousness, and then making your decisions based on fear. Saying, well, this is what worked for so and so, so I'm going to do it. Or if I don't take action now, I can't just sit here and wait for inspiration. So being able to be in a place of trust and surrender, which is huge, one of the feminine principles in terms of running your business from the feminine, is the key to all of it working. Because if you're in fear, you're not going to be able to hear your own voice, right? Because you're going to be spinning around like a crazy woman.
That's brilliant. Because what I see also, the issue of so the fear, and then we stop, and then don't move forward, and then you like shoot yourself in the foot, you bite yourself in the butt, sabotage yourself in the name of, you think you're taking care of yourself, but we've been acculturated to like hold back or play small, or a woman is a bitch. If you really express your voice, if you really show up, then what you might want, do you find this? What you might want to look at is, what's the cost? What's the price you pay on both sides? Because in Hebrew we go enefes. You pay one way, you pay the other. only when you pay with your fear. In Hebrew, if you turn the root for fear around, you get dachaf, which is like your propulsion forward. Your
propeller.
yeah, it's the propeller to provide you with the courage to move ahead. But if you don't, you end up either in stasis or, if you're experiencing that situation of you've got an idea or you dare do something and you move forward and then you get scared, like what Kathy says of, oh, I won't have enough money or my survival. And then you inadvertently keep yourself in a survival mode because you're not willing to go into the contraction phase of the birth.
That's exactly right.
Right? Which
Right.
is painful. Birth is messy. It's bloody. It's like, and it's not controllable. And
it requires a lot of surrender.
yeah. When I was writing Miriam's Secret, I interviewed a midwife.
Awesome.
And I said, so what do you see as the, between like feminine power and transformation and birth? And she laughed at me. She goes, how could they be inseparable? Said, because in the birth, she corroborated with that thing. She said, most of my work is not doing a lot. She goes, but there's a point when the woman in contractions and the woman comes to a place of the wall. Those of you who have given birth, you probably relate to this. And the wall, she says, is what they call the place when a woman gets to a place where she's terrified and she is afraid of dying. Because it's so painful, it's so constricting, and she can't do it. She's powerless. And at that point, this is every 10 years I've been telling this story, and it just astounds me every time. Amazing. At the point where there's that wall, she said, that's where I, as the midwife, know that all is safe and well, that the baby is on its way. I go, what? She said, because at that point, the woman has to let go and then nature takes over. The feminine takes over. She said, where there's difficulty and the danger is when the woman won't let go of wanting to control. And that's where death in birth, cesareans, premature birth,
right,
and death in birth.
Wow.
That was a life changer for me.
Wow.
So
what a great story. What a great analogy. Yes.
It's amazing. And I've experienced personally Kathy's work. It's really brilliant. And she brings together very powerful women and in such a delightful way enables them to meet together. And there's a kind of brilliance that comes out because the women who come there, the type who are willing to move forward in this way, they've already been through that process of that they're willing to jump, and expect that the net will appear. And she has an event, I believe, on a yearly basis. Do you have one coming up?
I have one coming up in January 17th and 18th, and it's called the Empowered Feminine Business Summit. And this is 2 days of masterminding with powerful business owners, sharing your challenges, your struggles, getting feedback, and also learning a really powerful feminine business strategy. And I know that's a little bit of an oxymoron, feminine and strategy, but learning to collaborate and create cross-promotional partnerships is one of the ways that you can grow your business exponentially. And so this is a facilitated event for you to find other women who would be happy to promote you to their tribe. And you get the chance to help women who are on a mission that would help your tribe and promote them. So it's a really powerful 2 days. And
it's fun.
We have a lot of fun.
I personally met 2 women, and one of which, like right then and there, we decided, oh yeah, we're doing something together.
That's right.
And that resulted in a lot of good. And I met another woman who traveled from back east, who came back to LA, who I was able to meet with again.
Oh, right.
Susan.
Yes, Susan.
Very powerful woman. And it was just a delight. So I'm definitely going, and we would love for you to join us.
Absolutely. And what we're going to do is we'll post a link in the comments, and so you can get your ticket.
Oh, great.
Yeah, for sure. And so I'd love to have you there. And I want to thank you, Ileana, for this wonderful interview and for sharing, your
you're
knowledge
welcome.
and what you're thinking. And I love that we are so much on. I move closer into the. I love that we are so much
No, don't
on.
worry.
We're just in a really parallel journey,
Yeah, it's
which
cool.
is really beautiful. So
What I would love is for you to comment below what about this notion of structure, flow, and what was the
sequential.
Sequential. How does this resonate with you? This is like so game changing for me. I'm just real interested to see what you have to say about
yes,
this.
and I want to share, Ileana, what you said to me before we started when you told me the story. This whole notion of doing business in the feminine can really come across, sometimes has like a little bit of a bad name. Oh, it's so woo-woo, and everything's intuitive, and that means it's, there's no structure, it's changing all the time, blah, 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 and people don't respect it. And so you said, this sort of gives a kind of respect and validation that no, it's actually, it is sequential. Right? There is some structure, and then there's flow around the structure.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it feminine. It's not structureless, is what we're saying.
In fact, yeah, I mean, we both have very nice businesses, and are we bullhooey? No.
Are we lying around eating bonbons all day?
No. But you know what I learned today also is another thing. Miriam was a midwife.
Oh.
It's giving me, there's like another coin dropping of the value of a midwife.
Yes, and so if you're a midwife, we want you to come to the event because we have a lot of respect for you.
Yeah.
So if you're a midwife, comment in the
Janice
in the
Gilden, are you watching?
Yeah.
I'm going to send this to you.
Yeah. No, I love that whole analogy. I've always said that, about my business, like midwifing.
Mindy Levy. Mindy's the one who Mindy, I'm going to send this to you.
Mindy, join us January 17th and 18th. We'd love to have you.
Come to LA.
Yeah. So, okay. So thank you so much for this.
You're
this
welcome.
was wonderful.
Thank you
Super
very
fun.
much. Very, very much for coming. And please enjoy your day and do something kind for yourself today because you truly deserve it.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.